Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Tuesday, November 28th, 2017. Now, before I go into your horoscope, I just wanted to give you one announcement, and that is to let you know that I will be speaking live tomorrow in a Facebook group online. Some of the founders invited me. They wanted to ask me just a little bit about my story, about who I am, about astrology, about what I do, some things like that. So we're just going to go ahead and just talk about all of those things, and I invite you to come watch me. And to come listen. It's going to happen tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mountain Time in the Rising She Tribe Facebook group. I will put the link down below to the Facebook group so you can find it. What the Rising She Tribe is, it's a Facebook group for women. So I'm not sure. I don't think you guys will be able to join, but it is a Facebook group for women that are interested in their spirituality, interested in spiritual journeys in some way, and even creating a spiritual business and to just support and uplift and inspire each other. So it's been really cool and really fun to be a part of that group. So I encourage you to do that and to join the group, to watch me. If you're not free tomorrow at 6 p.m. to see me, you can go ahead and you can join the group anyways, and then watch the recorded version later on whenever it is that you have the time to see that. Okay, so that's what I've got there, and I hope that some of you will be there, and then I'll see some of your usernames or some of your names as I'm there answering some questions. All right, so that's what I've got for you. Now for your horoscope for today, what's going on today? You know I like to start with the night before. So what happened at the end of yesterday into today around 10 p.m. Utah time is that we had the moon right here at the very end degrees of Pisces in a conjunction with Chiron. Okay, this could bring up some hurt feelings, some insecurities, some fears, or just a general feeling of just not feeling comfortable in life and with what's happening, especially at the end of the day yesterday. Okay, the reason for that is because this is Chiron. Chiron rules uncomfortable feelings. It rules your biggest wound in life in some way that just doesn't feel right. Okay, now to what degree you feel this wound is going to depend on your chart. From transit Chiron, you could have all sextiles and things could not be that bad for you, but you could also have squares to Chiron in your chart right now, and this could be very painful for you, bringing up a lot of things. So the intensity to which you feel this is going to depend on your chart, but it generally does bring up some uncomfortable feelings that are not the easiest to deal with in some way. All right, and that's what was going on last night at 10 o'clock Utah time. These uncomfortable feelings that you have inside of you in Pisces, because Pisces rules internal states, most likely had something to do here with Saturn and with Mercury, because the moon was also making a square there last night, and with Venus, because the moon and Chiron were also in a trine at the end of last night too. So these uncomfortable feelings happening inside you most likely have to do with some decision that you're making with Saturn and Mercury, some decision to do something new that you have not done before. Also some thoughts or some conversations that you're having about some commitment or something that you need to commit to, perhaps that you have not done before. That could be hard. Also getting the right perspective on life, figuring out your beliefs as well. There were some things that were uncomfortable for you, maybe not wanting to make some of these decisions that you have to make, maybe wanting to make the decisions but not knowing in what way you need to make them, coming in here, having just some difficult conversations about something new that you're doing that's hard for you. With Venus in the mix here in Scorpio, while you're making some of these hard decisions about some new thing you're going to commit to here when Saturn leaves Sagittarius, there could also be some big changes you know you have to make in order to commit to this new thing, in order to do something that you know you need to do that you have not done before, especially changes because it's Venus with relationships and with money here, and that may be feeling scary, maybe not wanting to make changes that you need to make to do this new thing, maybe being afraid to make the changes in some way, or just something kind of along those lines coming in here, because Venus is in detriment in Scorpio. So having some hard things that you need to either end or begin with money, with people, in order for you to do some new thing, and also just dealing with some deep feelings coming up from below the surface about these things also, that you're trying to figure out how to get a handle on so that you can better do some things that it is that you know you need to do in life to point your life in the direction it needs to go in. All right, so I think that's what was happening yesterday. Now that's going to continue to happen until 10 o'clock this morning, Utah time, that things could be a little bit hard. But what goes on at 10 o'clock Utah time is that the moon begins to move right here into Aries after it's been in Pisces in this really uncomfortable spot. And I think what's going on is that after we're kind of hurt, dealing with some emotional stuff and what's going on, we begin to want to move forward on some of it, to understand better what's happening, to put our life in a better place, and to do some of the things that we need to do to overcome some of the hard feelings that came up in the previous few hours and in the previous day that's going on here, okay? So I think that's what more of our attention comes to, how you can start to move forward on some of these things, overcome some things from the past, and start to hopefully feel a little bit better. Now, I would say that this is a great time to act and to get things done, especially with the moon being in Aries, which is a Mars-ruled sign, a very active sign, especially with the moon being a first quarter moon, or a few days after a first quarter moon, definitely indicating action and moving forward and taking action to overcome some things from the past that have been holding you back in some way. But after the moon moves into Aries, it just kind of hangs out there again and doesn't make any major aspects until late at night at 10 p.m. So I think even as you're starting to feel today, especially during 10 a.m., the morning hours, you're starting to feel like you want to act, you're starting to feel like you want to move forward, you're starting to feel like you want to do some things to overcome some things that have been holding you back and to put your life in a right place and to do something that's better for you. I think maybe what's good to do through the beginning of the day is to just think about things you could do. Perhaps to think very aggressively about things that you need to do to put yourself in a better spot. And I don't really advise taking the action just because the moon isn't really doing much during the middle of the day until the nighttime, okay? Because at 10 p.m. after the moon kind of hangs out, after it's moved into Aries, the moon then makes a trine over here from Aries to the sun in Sagittarius. And that to me is a good time at 10 o'clock at night to then start moving forward once again, doing some of the things that you need to do, and especially making sense of your life with the sun in Sagittarius coming in, doing something new that it is that you need to do, and making plans that can help you better come to terms with some of these commitments that it is that you need to make, all right? And I think that's what's going on, is we have some uncomfortable feelings that come up at the very end of yesterday. Then today we start, especially once the moon comes off this spot, we start to feel a little bit better. We start to want to take action to overcome some of these hard feelings and things that have been holding us, but needing to just sit and wait with it for a little bit to make sure that we're thinking about things in the right way here and that we're acting in the right ways. And then at nighttime, once the moon comes into this trine to the sun here, to really begin to start doing some of the things that you need, that are new, that are different, to put your life in the spot that you want it to go on, to make some of the decisions that you want to make, and to really begin to commit to it in some way, okay? So that's what I've got going on for you for today. Now, stuff going on in the background here is we've got Jupiter moving into a trine with Neptune today. Very close. It's a degree off. Jupiter's at 10, Neptune's at 11. Really saying here, any changes that you can make are going to be good for you, are going to help you feel more comfortable, are going to help you overcome some things in the past and move forward. This is kind of an interesting thing because while, you know, Jupiter is making this really pretty aspect to Neptune, we still have Venus here in its detriment position where it doesn't like to be, coming off of also a really uncomfortable trine over here to Chiron. So I think there are some changes we need to make in life, which I did talk about at the beginning of my horoscope. I think we're uncomfortable about these changes as we're making them. They don't feel right, but I think if you can keep moving forward, if you can keep making them, everything's going to be taken care of. Like, Jupiter is going to clean up the mess. If you feel like things are messy now, if you feel like you have to make some hard decisions and some hard endings and beginnings in regards to relationships and money, I think if you just go ahead and make them, this aspect is going to help clean it up. And Jupiter, especially coming over the same spot in the next year, even if it takes all year, is going to help you to become more comfortable with some of these decisions that you're making now and some of these changes that it is that you're making, and really needing to go ahead and make them, okay? Because this is Jupiter, and because this is also Neptune, which just went direct last week, and because both of these planets I think generally like each other, and trines are pretty positive as well, I think you could be getting some insights too and some clarity here, especially if you let yourself explore and get creative and listen to what your intuition is telling you to really make the changes that you need to make that can put your life in a better place, even if it is hard and even if it is uncomfortable, okay? So that was a lot of things there about that aspect, but I think that's what's going on. Any changes you're making may not feel right, but you will be taken care of. The mess will be cleaned up. If not soon, then in the next year, I think some of these changes you're going to be okay with, and they're going to start to come together. All right, while that's going on, we also do have Saturn here still in the trine to Uranus, so we're making some big decisions, some big commitments about life, about where things are going, that have a lot to do with something we've been working on for the past 2.5 years here. And with the trine to Uranus coming in from Saturn here, really wanting to make sure we're making the right commitments, really wanting to break free. I think this is even putting more pressure on us to make the right decisions because we're tired of it. We're tired of dealing with this Saturn and Sagittarius thing. We're tired of these same old issues coming up. I think we want to move forward. I think we want to make it happen. Not only can Neptune direct bring insights, but Uranus as well can bring insights. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of clarity this week, and a lot of your readings that I did for my weeklies, I got a lot of tarot cards, and I just got a lot of feelings that clarity is going to come this week. Answers are going to come this week. And even if you don't get answers, I think there's going to be a need to make a lot of decisions that are going to be very defining for you about where your life and where everything is going. Even if you don't like some of these decisions, I think they're going to give you more of that clarity that you need to figure out what's going on. And I think these aspects with Neptune, with Uranus, with Mercury and Saturn here are going to help you figure out where your life is going so that you can do something that's really, really important to you that we've been trying to do for the past 2.5 years here with Saturn and Sagittarius, that just now is starting to fall into place, that just now is starting to crystallize and come to us in some way, okay? So that's what's happening there. And then the last thing I think I'm going to talk about for today is Mars in an opposition, coming into an opposition with Uranus here, that it won't be there until a few more days from now, on Thursday, I believe, but also bringing up some unexpected things that can happen because Mars is in Libra, having a lot to do with relationships, unexpected things coming up from other people that other people want, unexpected things that you want that you then have to integrate into your relationships in some way as you're trying to break free, to make some commitments and do some things that are important to you. So just be on the lookout for that here. If someone does anything unexpected to you, or if you do anything unexpected to people, and try to find the balance, try to find the middle way, try to integrate some of these unexpected things into your life in a way that feels better for you and isn't so jarring. So pay attention to some of those things that may come up, all right? But I see lots of clarity coming in here this week to really help you figure out what's going on, especially with the full moon coming up on Sunday here, and the new moon on top of Saturn as it's leaving Sagittarius, really saying time to figure out what's going on with your life here. No more dilly-dallying, no more hanging out on the fence. You know, that's what your mutable signs like to do. Your mutable signs like to change their minute from 1 minute, you know, change their mind from 1 minute to the next here. And that's going to change when you get in Capricorn. Capricorn does not change. Capricorn moves, builds, goes forward on it. And I think that's what we're trying to figure out here, is how to make up our minds, how to decide on something that we've been kind of waffling about and trying to figure out and exploring for the past 2.5 years, so that we can do what Capricorn wants us to do, which is to take this thing and to run with it and to do some really big things with it and to move up in the world with whatever we're deciding right now. And I think we're trying to figure all of that out. Now your card for the day is Justice reversed. This, to me, is a lot of ways, I think, a card of restoring the balance in your life in some way. Perhaps your life has been out of balance, been in disarray. I know mine has been. And I think this is saying you got to figure out how to bring all the pieces together. You got to figure out how to get on top of your life, how to control your life, how to understand what is going on here, and how to bring it all together in a way that's better for you. This, to me, is also, right, did I say this? A time to take your power back. If there's been some kind of imbalance or some kind of unfairness in your life in some way, sometimes you get this card when things are not fair. Time for you to try to restore the balance, to do what is fair, and to get what you need to help you move your life in a better direction that's important for you. And I think that's what's coming in today. Maybe this is what the Mars opposite Uranus thing is about. Since this Justice card, if you notice, it's got the scales on it. Libra is the sign of the scales, and that's where Mars is. So maybe that's what the Mars opposite Uranus thing is saying, is that you're going to have to take your power back, rebalance the scales in some way. And maybe that's what people are going to try to do with you this week, is try to figure out how to get their life in balance and the way that they want it, which may be a little upsetting to people who didn't know that some of these thoughts were going on in your mind. All right, but needing to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to get your life in order and in a good spot that can help you move forward and build on it in the future in a way that's good for you. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching your horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.